course of the week, as Nigerian Bureau of Statistics released the inflation in Nigeria that have been going up in the last 10 years, it again rose the same question. The question is, why do we continue to have this inflationary trend? Some of you have written to inquire how and what we think is the way out. Why do we have this inflation? Well, so many things affected the Nigerian economy. One of them was the floating of the naira. The other was to remove oil subsidy, and they were done about the same time. One of them is potent enough to disrupt things. The combination of the two is a double tragedy. We are not here to argue whether it was proper to remove subsidy or to float naira. That's not the matter. We leave it for another day. But at the last count, just last Monday, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics announced that our inflation is now 33.88%, rising from 32.7% the month before. And this is consumer price index. This is consumer inflation. So it's reflected in the food we buy. You step into the market to buy a pint of garri. You return the next 2 days when you are done with that to see that the price has gone up. You want to buy meat, you return and everything keeps going up. Everything is going up on daily basis and even hourly basis. You're not very sure of any price that you bought before as to go and bargain or plan with it. That has been a problem. And the question is, what is the way out? My fear, our fear here in Broad Street, is that government is not using the right tool to tackle the effect of inflation. Government is using interest rate, and they are pursuing inflation from behind. Interest rate has jacked up. Treasury bill rate is very high, as if interest rates will match up with inflation. Is a wrong tool to use because it's cost-based. Now, but one thing we can be sure of is that when the right tools are applied, and one of them lately has happened, is a good news that Dangote Refineries have negotiated with independent petroleum marketers to drop the price of petrol by 50 naira. And that's a good drop. It will reflect, say we said so, from November ending December, you will see prices changing in line with this because it will have effect on transport, ought to have effect. Let me rephrase my statement. It ought to have effect on transport. A pity that when things go up in Nigeria, they hardly come down, but they ought to have effect on transport. So this is the right tool. We expect it to show, because if cost of transportation of goods from the manufacturing point or from the hinterland into the town drops, it ought to show on the price of the end product in the market. So we expect Dangote Refinery now in full operation, and the dropping of 50 naira, number one. Number two is Dangote Refinery also stems importation. Importation of petroleum, 1 point something trillion in less than 2 months. That's what we had. But now that money is now in naira. To source foreign exchange to pay for imported petroleum products is a thing of the past, will soon be a thing of the past. If that pressure alone is removed from the naira, it ought to affect the naira positively. And that is what we're expecting. So you that sent your letter, you that sent us a message and said, what is the solution to this? We are optimistic that we will get this matter right. I mean, the government of the day. If they implement it to the letter, it will show. Again, what is the effect of inflation on your money? We have treated it so many times. It erodes the power, the value of your naira. That's why your naira doesn't have the value it had. It's the same naira. We didn't change currency. I still remember that growing up as a young man, My first return ticket to London was about 200 naira. Is it the same naira? Yes, same naira. My first flight ticket from Port Harcourt to Lagos was 21 naira 30 kobo. Is it the same naira? Yes. What has happened to it? Over the years, inflation has eaten deep into it. You now look like Sefa. In those days, we used to joke with Sefa and we say it's a bag full for a loaf of bread. But Sefa has overtaken Naira. I mean, the West African currencies of French colonies, former French colonies. Even the Italian lira that used to be a handful, they are all doing better than the Naira. Inflation has eaten deep into it. We pray that the government of the day sits up and gets this inflationary trend arrested so that we can enjoy our lives once more in Nigeria. Once more, thanks for sending in your question, and we will entertain every question you send our way under Investors Education Series. Thank you.